So you've made the shift to teaching in the block. Longer periods of time, fewer transitions. The potential for deep learning is now on the table. So the job of the leader is to now lean in to the teachers and help them, support them in rethinking how they can use that time. It is actually the 30th anniversary of me developing an approach to teaching in the block for teachers who are moving from the more conventional approach to teaching into deciding what to do with longer blocks of time. And it is called the OME, opening, middle, end. And if you want to learn more about it, I have a blog post on it so that you can dive into that further. You, as the leader, are now walking into a classroom. What are you looking for? I'm going to suggest that you are looking for what I will call the guts of teaching: facilitation, feedback, and flow. First, the teacher moves from being the deliverer of information to the developer, designer of a wonderful classroom with rich experiences, ways in which students can learn that meet their needs. So you may see students working independently, in pairs, in small groups. You might see a group sitting with a teacher. You might see the teacher sitting with students and moving around. And I tell teachers, never hover, pull up a chair, sit with students eye to eye, and facilitate that learning. You should hear the teacher asking questions, not just comprehension questions, but what if, what else, getting students to think more deeply about the content. You should see the teacher moving about the classroom in deliberate ways. I like to tell teachers, as you are moving around the room, don't stay on one side of the room and get all the way to the other side. If you're facilitating sitting with students on one side of the room, cross over to the other side. Then come back, then go to the other corner, so that your presence is felt in the room. There's a balance of energy, if you will. You want to see teachers guiding students in their learning, helping them decide which activity to choose next, whether to work in a pair or individually, whether they should use a video or read the text. You want them to provide more resources for students, connect them to other students, etc., so that they're not only instructing in the moment in the content, but they're also helping students learn how to learn. You want to see teachers assessing where students are at and then providing them with the question or instruction that they need, perhaps teaching in the moment for a student who needs some help. Facilitation is a key part of teaching in the block. Next up, feedback. The beautiful thing about teaching in the block is that students no longer have to wait for the papers to come back. They can get immediate feedback, and students report wanting more immediate feedback from teachers. So throughout this period of middle time, when students are engaged, independent of the teacher can now be assessing in the moment. I tell teachers to be sure that you're offering specific feedback. Saying you're doing a good job is not enough. What does that look like? What exactly did you do? You know who offers great feedback? I happen to use ChatGPT, and every time I enter something, it comes back and says, "What a wonderful insight. I like the way you," and then it lists about 5 things I did. It is wonderful at giving specific feedback, and that's what we want to give students. Students not only receive feedback from teachers, they receive feedback from peers. And teachers can help this by creating some protocols and checklists for peers to offer feedback to one another. Students should receive feedback from themselves in reflective moments. And again, teachers can support that by offering checklists, short rubrics, so that students can stop and self-assess and provide their own feedback to themselves. So in-the-moment feedback is really important in teaching in the block. You've got facilitation, feedback, and now flow. That classroom period should simply flow. It shouldn't look like chunked pieces of time. Now we have an opening, now we have a middle, now we have an end. The opening should be that hook that has students saying, I want to learn, I want to look into this. Questions are swirling in my head, and now naturally we move right into that period of time. Now you bring them back together for this ending, and you are just naturally flowing into sharing it out. Let's talk with one another. What did you find, etc. And that's where the teacher solidifies the learning. Facilitation, feedback, flow. Look for it in the classroom. Look for it in your own leadership style.